At Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland. From Hughes Stadium, the South Carolina State Bulldogs and the Morgan State Bears. It's the MEAC College Football Game of the Week on the Sports Fever Television Network. Hi, everybody. Great to see you. I'm Phil Shaner alongside my partner, the czar of the playbook, Emory Hunt. And Morgan State 2 weeks ago pulled one of the biggest upsets this year in the FCS, knocking off A&T. Alex Rea did it with his leg, hit a 51-yarder, and then the game winner as time expired, the 36-yarder. Alex Rea got it done.
And prior to that, he hit a 49-yarder. So we saw a guy last year that was a liability, turning himself into an asset for this Morgan State football team.
On the other side, South Carolina State still looking for their first win of the season. And right now, Emory, their defense is ahead of their offense, and you like a couple of those guys on the defensive line.
You talk about Paul McKeever, the defensive tackle. This program just seems to churn out offensive and defensive linemen. And you look at McKeever, you talk about Javon Hargrave of the Pittsburgh Steelers. McKeever, a junior, is next in line.
Morgan State's defense has downright been nasty this season. The top tackler in the MEAC is Damari Whitaker. Whitaker's been all over the place.
And he missed all of 2017, came into this year as a preseason All-MEAC performer. 2016, he was a preseason All-MEAC performer. This year, he's going to be first team, and this is the guy that's a very important piece of that Morgan State defense.
Homecoming, the parade, tailgate, did you take part?
You can't get any bigger than pregame tailgating at Morgan State. Fight songs, bands, college football conference game. I am ready.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Morgan State looking for their second straight win for the first time since 2016. Homecoming at Morgan, always special. Bulldogs, Bears, MEAC, college football. Next on the Sports Fever Television Network.
Okay, Kevin, USAA Bank is here to help you stay on track. Budget's looking good. Clear for a fill-up? And green light some beef jerky, too. Thanks, Chief.
USAA Bank helps you stay a step ahead. Find help at every turn.
Yeah!
With USAA Bank.
The NBA on ESPN is back October 17th, presented by State Farm.
Game of the Week is brought to you by 16 on the Park Restaurant, Buffalo Wild Wings, Connie's Chicken and Waffles, Glory Days Grill, Dave & Buster's, and Walter's Relocations. Back in Baltimore, Maryland for a MEAC opener for the Morgan State Bears. Homecoming, Morgan State 13-4 since 2001 on homecoming. Let's head down to the field for more on homecoming. Here's a third member of our broadcast team, Jeff Jajeski. Jeff?
Thank you, Phil. Always so much excitement, so much emotion when it comes to the homecoming game, no matter where you are. And Coach Ernest T. Jones said, you know what, we embrace that. We want our players to participate. We want them to be a part of the homecoming festivities. But when it comes to the game, he said, we want to take all that emotion out. Let the crowd have that emotion. Let the families have that emotion. But we just need to execute. Phil?
And that's what Ernest T. Jones's guys will try to do with their MEAC opener, of course, coming off the big, shocking win 2 weeks ago over North Carolina A&T, so they want to follow that up. And I guess, Emory, really that win 2 weeks ago means nothing if they can't get a win here today on homecoming.
Especially coming off of a bye week. You talk about a team that had 2 weeks now to celebrate this win, celebrate what happened, the upset, but now you have to get back to business. If they come out the gates flat defensively and on offense, that could be an issue. So I understand what Coach Ernest T. Jones is talking about. He means it well, and he means what he says when he's speaking of letting the fans and the crowd deal with that emotion. They have to execute out here on game day.
Well, South Carolina State, they won the toss but deferred, and they'll kick away to the Morgan State Bears. After deferring the toss, the Bears opening their 41st season in the MEAC. The Bears kicked off their first season in the MEAC in 1971. Withdrew from the conference from 79 to 80, and then returned to the MEAC in 1984. Alex Rea will kick off to start this game. He was the star 2 weeks ago. His leg got it done for the Morgan State Bears. The South Carolina State Bulldogs on the return. Short return across the 15-yard line, and that's where South Carolina State Bulldogs will start things offensively. They've been struggling offensively. Tyrese Nick is their quarterback. He can do it with his legs and his arm, but this offense ranks 9th in total offense in the MEAC, 6th running the football and 9th passing. Take a look at the entire South Carolina starting offense. They're trying to get the football going, running with James. That offensive line hopefully is starting to get better. 3 starters back on that O-line.
Robbie Stevenson is outstanding up front of the left guard. Keep an eye on him. He's a big-time playmaker along the line of scrimmage.
1st and 10 from the 17, and we're underway from Baltimore, Maryland. Morgan State shows pressure, and they jumped. The defense has played very well for Morgan State, and that time they, I think, anticipated getting across the line of scrimmage a little too fast. Agbelise AJ has been awesome. I think he's the one that jumped at the end. He has 10 tackles and a couple of tackles for a loss, 2 fumble recoveries this season. So the penalty on Morgan State, or on South Carolina State, and there's take a look at the head coach. Buddy Pugh, his 17th season, 120 wins and 68 losses, and he's a character. You got to like Buddy Pugh. Staple in the MEAC, was a grad of South Carolina State. So the penalty was on South Carolina State, moves them back 5 yards. With the pitch on the outside, not much running room there at all. Good job by the Morgan State defense to contain James on the carry, just a short gain.
And you talk about one of the best defenses in the MEAC, and what I like about Morgan State, you're going to see right here on this play, playing the option, just doing your job. A lot of times you see teams try to guess and 2 guys converge on a quarterback, leaving the pitch man open. Good team defense right there by the Bears to start this ball game.
2nd down now for the Bulldogs. The pitch back, little trickery. Nick to throw the football downfield to the 40-yard line. Open receiver and incomplete. Penalty marker down at the 10-yard line. So a little trickery by the Bulldogs defense. Ruger had it and then pitched it, and then the throw. What do you think of that play, Emery?
I think it was a forward pass initially, so it's just a cascade of problems right there for South Carolina State. I love the aggressiveness, trying to strike quickly on this very aggressive Morgan State defense, but that play was doomed from the jump, and we're going to see if it's a penalty on a illegal forward pass or maybe a roughing the quarterback.
This is the first time under Coach Pugh that South Carolina State is 0-4. The last time the Bulldogs were 0-4, you'd have to go all the way back to 1970.
Wow. It just speaks to the job that Coach Pugh does with that football team.
Illegal forward pass. Offense. Number 3. Loss of down. Third down.
Let's take a look at the Morgan State defense. They rank 4th in the MEAC in total defense, 8th against the pass, 4th against the run. Their linebackers have been extra special. Been getting pressure from that defensive line, but McBurrow and Whitaker and Kennedy have been outstanding. Their secondary, Carl Garnes is back. Their secondary's been playing well. 9 interceptions. That leads the MEAC this season by the Morgan State secondary. They have been the heart and soul of this team this season. 3rd and 24 for the Bulldogs out of their own backfield. James next to Nick. Trying to get some room. Quick pass, high and incomplete. Over the intended receiver at the 10-yard line. So great job by Morgan State looking for Burrows, who was the intended receiver, and they'll have to kick the ball to Morgan State. So the Bears defense did their job here in front of the homecoming crowd, getting South Carolina State to punt the football back.
Your head coach, Ernest T. Jones, you couldn't script a better start for your defense. They had a nice defense of the run. They really got after the quarterback, forced an errant throw, and was able to force a penalty on that 2nd down flea flicker type of attempt. Now they have them backed up 4th and forever. It should get good field position here offensively.
Petaway, one of the best kickers in the MEAC, boots this one. He has a strong leg. Not this time. Goes out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Great field position. 32-yard punt, and that's where the Morgan State Bears offensively will have the football to start their first offensive series. You can't ask for anything more in homecoming to have this kind of great, outstanding home field advantage, or field advantage. Morgan State's offense, Harris at quarterback, Chase trying to get things going, 7th in the MEAC in rushing. Has some wide receivers that are dangerous. Watch out for number 3, Corey Holmes. He's coming on as of late. Jack McCracken at the tight end position as well has played well. The Trench Mob getting things together. Doing a good job for this Morgan State offense. Ranked 8th overall in the MEAC. Fake the chase. Harris with the completion. to the outside. A good opportunity there. McCracken, you're going to see a lot of McCracken at 6'4", 210. They really like this kid from Cincinnati, Ohio. His 6th catch of the season, picks up 8 yards.
And having a tight end in your offense in college football is key. That's another mismatch for the defense to worry about. And they spoke highly of him during the preseason, and he's been coming along slowly and now has become a premier player on this offense.
2nd and 3. Give to Chase, up the middle. Fights for 4 yards and has the first down. I believe they want to get Chase and Riggins going. South Carolina State struggles against the rush. They're last in the MEAC. Take a look at the South Carolina defense. You liked a couple of those guys on the defensive line. They're 9th total defense, but they do struggle. They give up an average of 6.3 a carry rushing the football. That's last in the MEAC. 269 yards. So yeah, I think that Morgan State wants to get their running backs, Chase and Riggins, going here if they could, running the football.
Keep an eye on strong safety Chris Adams of South Carolina State. Really good box defender for this defense.
Harris will keep it himself. Oh, a nice move there. And a 5-yard pickup by Harris. Harris is dangerous with his legs. 49 carries, 265 yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns so far this season.
And he put a move on that defender right there in space. That's what you want to see your quarterback do right here. Bang, bang. Put him on the ground, and then you see him just try to get upfield. But a nice first down carry for Morgan State. And this offense does a little bit of everything. You see them spread it out. You see them boss up and tighten up along the line of scrimmage. They do a great job of keeping things multiple on offense.
2nd down coming up for Morgan. Straight ahead to Chase. Gets maybe a yard, and that was it. Good job by South Carolina. Goodwin, big number 97 there to make the stop.
I love the defensive interior of South Carolina State. You talked about Paul McKeever in the open. Tyrell Goodwin, another junior on the inside. They do a great job of beating one-on-one blocks and finding themselves in the backfield. So if Morgan State is going to have some success running the football, they're going to have to make sure to get Goodwin and McKeever blocked up front if they want to have a chance.
Here's where Morgan State struggles on 3rd downs. Just 19% on 3rd downs. 3rd and 3. Working in Bulldog territory at the 17-yard line. Let's see if they can convert on this 3rd down. Harris goes to the end zone to Holmes. Had one hand on it and incomplete in the end zone. Nichols on the coverage.
Felt like that was a force right there by Harris. He had his outlet receiver in the flat wide open. He chose a difficult pass of going deep down the field to a covered guy. You just have to give credit to South Carolina State's defense for doing a good job in coverage, and that was Dwayne Nichols, a redshirt freshman out of Lakeview, South Carolina, Lakeview High School. So good job by South Carolina State tightening up on this end of their own field and forcing the field goal attempt.
So Alex Rea, this should be a chip shot for him, and the big kicks he had 2 weeks ago. A 35-yarder for Rea. The kick is up, and the kick is good. Alex Rea, they're doing it with his leg. He had the game-winning kick against North Carolina A&T, and he gets the Bears on the board first here today on homecoming. Morgan State leads it 3-0 over South Carolina State.
Find help at every turn with USAA Bank.
The NBA on ESPN is back October 17th, presented by State Farm.
Having a good time on homecoming. The Bears with a 3-0 lead. 6-play, 17-yard drive. Alex Rea capped it off with a 35-yard field goal. Rea this season 4 on field goals.
It's always good to come away with points on your opening series. Let's see if they can have a back-to-back good defensive drives if you're Morgan State.
That kick goes out of the end zone. Touchback. South Carolina State. The Bulldogs will have another opportunity offensively. South Carolina State winless this season. Lost to Georgia Southern to open the season. Then University of Central Florida, their NC Central game was postponed, lost to Norfolk State 17-7, and then on last Thursday lost to North Carolina A&T 31-16. There's that linebacking core for Morgan State. Defense so good. Linebackers Burrow, Whitaker, and Kennedy have been awesome for this defense that ranks 4th in the conference. South Carolina State 1st and 10. And Greer with the carry. Picks up a couple. 2.5 yards on his first down carry. Second down coming up for the Bulldogs.
And you brought up their game last week against North Carolina A&T. They had a lead in that game, and for the most part, they looked as if they were dominating that game against the Aggies. So this team has talent. You just have to put it all together and get 60 minutes of complete, consistent play, and that's why Coach Buddy Pugh is one of the best in the conference.
Second down, and Nick's going to keep the football himself on the keeper. Gets hit at the 30-yard line, takes a big hit, and that's where he was stopped immediately. Ian McBurrow with the big hit, his 27th tackle of the season.
I'm a big fan of their linebacking core here at Morgan State. You talk about Ian McBurrow. We talked about Demario Whitaker and Rico Kennedy, one of the best in the country. And that defensive line gives these guys a chance to have free reign to the football against the run. So I'm not surprised that they're having this much success at this juncture of the season.
Third down and 4 for the Bulldogs. Give straight ahead, first down. Greer, tough run, picks up 7 yards and moves the sticks. First down for the South Carolina State Bulldogs on the Greer run.
Bennett Swigert, the offensive coordinator of South Carolina State, has a lot of unique play designs to create space. He had the orbit motion right there. It was just an inside dive, but he caught Morgan State looking defensively. He was able to gash him up front with the running game.
They get the short pass out to Cummings, and he was stopped at the 35-yard line. Carl Garnes back. Comes up with a big tackle. He returned 2 weeks ago, and they're a different team with number 2 on the field.
He's one of my favorite guys in college football because he's an instigator. You need guys like that on your football team to stir up stuff defensively.
2-yard loss, second and 12. So a tackle for a loss for Carl Garnes. James with the handoff, has some running room around the outside and gets down to the 42-yard line before he was stopped by Carl Garnes again.
Detron James at 5'10", 201, a big back coming into the outside. You saw Carl Garnes square up and try to get that hit. It's a tall task asked for a cornerback, but he was up for the challenge, making that stop.
James from North Charleston, South Carolina. Third down coming for South Carolina State. They're 25% on third downs. They've struggled on third downs this year. And Morgan State has been outstanding. Number 1 in the MEAC on third downs. That's what they have done. They got teams off the field. Great job on defense on third downs by the Morgan State Bears defense this year.
Third down.
Well, that'll help things out with the penalty. Makes it a 3rd and short now.
They got Morgan State for illegal substitution. Makes it very manageable here on third down. And you need stuff like this to happen if you're South Carolina State. Third down offense is critical, but if you can't win on first and second down, third down is irrelevant.
3rd and a long one for Ernest T. Jones and his Morgan State Bears. Best in the MEAC on third downs defensively. Nick will keep it himself. Has the first down and across midfield in the Bears territory down to the 49-yard line.
And this is a good offensive series for the Bulldogs, just chewing up yards in chunks. And I'm surprised that right now they're having their way with this defensive line of Morgan State. We haven't seen Morgan State get blown off the ball like this defensively, but credit South Carolina State's offensive front for coming ready to play in this one.
1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. Nice little play. The pitch out to Cummings. Cummings has running room. That was a nice play. They faked it inside to Greer and pitched it outside to Cummings. Pickup of 14 yards and a first down. Trigg making the stop for Morgan State.
Not to belabor the point, but this is what happens when you're able to win up front. You have a lot of options on the perimeter, found a one-on-one situation. Just a great job right there by South Carolina State, making things happen on first down.
1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. The give up the middle to Greer. A couple of yards. Ibelis made the stop. AJ's having a great year. 10 tackles and 2 fumble recoveries. He's first in the MEAC, the MEAC in fumble recoveries. 2nd and 7 for South Carolina State. A penalty marker flies. South Carolina State's left tackle going to be whistled for that. It was on Morgan State.
I think they got Morgan State with the late shift, kind of caused South Carolina State to jump off sides.
There's Oliver Buddy Pugh, 17th season. Being blocked by some of his assistant coaches. Come on, give Coach Pugh his TV time. He's a classic in the MEAC. James in the backfield. He gets the handoff from Nick. Goes across the 20-yard line and down to the 15. 9-yard pickup by James. McBurrow made the stop for Morgan State. So now South Carolina State moving the football. A nice drive. The 1st and 10 on the 15. Give to James. James straight ahead. Gets 2.5 yards. McCray made the stop. His 11th tackle of the season after the James run.
It's been heavy run emphasis on this series for South Carolina State. At some point, they're going to have to put the ball in the air. We'll see if they do so on this particular play because there's a one-on-one matchup here in the slot.
James with 23 yards rushing so far this afternoon. Early on, first quarter, 6:33 to go here in the first quarter. The Bears with a 3-0 lead. Alex Rhea with a field goal put Morgan State up. But South Carolina in the red zone threatening with a 2nd and 7 from the 12. Nick fakes the pitch, then pitches it to the outside. Nice play there, and touchdown, South Carolina State. Jenkins in for the score.
It's a good job of running right there by Jarius Jenkins. But you talk about the quarterback play here. He had to break that tackle first because he misread the option, found it a second chance, and was able to pitch it to Jenkins for the touchdown. But just a great job by Tyrese Nick on this series with his option reads because he was able to influence that defender to suck on in before he was able to pitch it out to a wide-open Jenkins. Jenkins did the rest, put the ball in the end zone.
11 play, 75-yard drive, took off 5:13 of the clock, ended with an 11-yard touchdown run by Jenkins, and the kick after is good. And South Carolina State takes a 7-3 lead over the Bears on homecoming from Baltimore, Maryland. We'll be back on the Sports Fever Television Network.
Okay, Kevin, USAA Bank is here to help you stay on track. Budget's looking good. Clear for a fill-up? And green light some beef jerky, too. Thanks, Chief.
USAA Bank helps you stay a step ahead. Find help at every turn.
Yeah!
With USAA Bank.
The NBA on ESPN is back October 17th, presented by State Farm.
Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland. MEAC opener for the Bears. They trail South Carolina State 7-3. South Carolina State 11-play, 75-yard drive, 11-yard touchdown run by Jenkins. Puts the Bulldogs on the board. See what Morgan State could do with it. Cofield back and King back to receive the kickoff. King on the return. Gets hit hard across the 25-yard line, and that's where Morgan State's offense will come out and see what they can do with it. Let's head down to the field. Jeff Jazeski. Jeff?
Thanks, Phil. You know, we've already seen just how important both these quarterbacks' running abilities are to their team's offense. On that drive, Tyrese Nick using his legs not only on designed runs, but to create time for the option pitch for that touchdown. Coming into the game, the two quarterbacks had combined for 130 rushing attempts this year. Just to see how important those two guys, their legs, not their arms, are to these offenses.
Of course, we all know Ernest T. Jones has said Morgan State's identity this year is we're going to run the football, and then we're going to run the football. It doesn't matter if the quarterback's doing it, but this time they're passing the football deep downfield and overthrew the intended receiver looking downfield for Bailey. And that was over Bailey's head and incomplete.
Yeah, DeAndre Harris made the right read there. Just has to put that ball on Bailey. He was running across the field on a post pattern, had the one-on-one coverage, the one-on-one matchup that he wanted. Just put it a little bit too far out front, and this is probably why Coach Jones says they want to run the football and run the football some more. But when you have these opportunities that the run game sets up for you on the deep end, you have to be able to connect. That was a missed opportunity for Morgan State.
Bailey, the fastest player on Morgan State's team, preseason All-MEAC third-teamer. Quick pass, incomplete, was looking for Pollen. On coverage was Brown. Good job by Brown to knock that one away on the quick hitter to Pollen.
That's a great play by the senior. You see him just blanket the receiver, get his arm around him late before taking his far arm and putting it around the receiver and knocking the ball away. So just great technique, great coverage, and a great job overall right there by Alex Brown.
Third down coming up. This is where Morgan State struggles offensively. As I mentioned before, just 19% on third downs this season. Harris going to use his legs, as Jeff talked about, to try to get the first down. And just short of the first down, a 9-yard pickup. Stop made by Gilchrist, who's the leading tackler for South Carolina State. 23 tackles on the season. He's 5th in the MEAC in tackles.
Morgan State thinking about going for it here. You have that big offensive line. You want to send a message to your football team. This is the situation where you want to put them in and say, hey, you have to go out there and pick up this first down. So this is about to be a strength versus strength battle here, as the defensive front of South Carolina State has to win right now against the trench mob of Morgan State on his 4th and short.
Morgan State 1 of 5 on 4th downs this season for 20%, 4th and 1. Handoff inside, and that's a first down for the Morgan State Bears. Well, that was a gut check right there, and Joshua Chase got the 2 yards needed for the first down.
And that's all on Joshua Chase right there, because I'm not a big fan of pulling offensive linemen in short yardage situations because you invite penetration. And South Carolina State actually played that pretty well. But just a great play made by Joshua Chase, great individual effort in picking up that first down.
Big first down on a 4th down run. Ernest T. Jones's gamble pays off in his own territory. The Bears with a 1st and 10. Give to Chase again. Stays on his legs, stays on his feet. A good move there. Gilchrist again made the stop. But good second effort by Chase.
We just saw him have that on that 4th and short situation. Now you see him on first down get rewarded once again because of that effort, because of that hustle. And that's what you want to see from your ground game, guys, going that extra mile to pick up those yards. And we saw South Carolina State drive down the field with their running game. Can Morgan State do the same with their ground attack?
Chase now with 10 yards on the ground. 2nd down. Harris will keep it himself. Fakes the handoff to Chase, and he has running room into Bulldog territory down to the 40-yard line. Stop made by Brown, but a nice pickup by Harris to move the chains.
This was a great read by Harris, because prior to the play, you saw a late safety rotation by South Carolina State. They were predicting them to go outside. He was able to pull that football late, had an alley. He was able to attack at full speed and pick up a chunk play for the Bears.
17-yard pickup for Harris and a first down. Now working in Bulldog territory. 1st and 10 from the 40. Give to Chase right up the middle. They'll take that every time on first down runs. A gain of 6 yards. Chase strong up the middle. Brought down by Johnson.
Stopping the run is about attitude and want to. And right now, both defensive fronts are kind of not wanting to stop the run. They're getting gashed on the interior on both sides of this game, because you see the offensive line of Morgan State have success, and we just saw South Carolina State's offensive front do the same. So at some point, this defensive front for both teams will have to really step up and make a play.
Ernest T. Jones loves the 2nd and 4 situations. You get 6 yards and a first down run, he'll take that all afternoon. Harris sends man in motion. White goes in motion. Harris wide open is Corey Holmes at the 10-yard line. Holmes dives for the pylon and is in the end zone for the touchdown. Corey Holmes with the touchdown. Robinson was the one on coverage trying to get him down, but great second effort by Corey Holmes. Harris to Holmes for the Bears touchdown.
Just a busted coverage right there by South Carolina State, but you have to give credit to DeAndre Harris for seeing it and getting the football. Those are the toughest plays to make if you're a receiver, because that ball is going to take all day to come down. But it's just a great job right there bringing it for a touchdown.
And Morgan State goes for 2. DJ Galat gets the 2-point conversion. So Morgan State comes right back and answers the South Carolina State touchdown with a touchdown of their own. Morgan State back on top.
The NBA on ESPN is back October 17th, presented by State Farm.
A State 11-play drive with an 8-play, 72-yard drive of their own that took 3:25 off the clock. Holmes with the 34-yard catch from Harris for the touchdown. Holmes transferred to Morgan State from Notre Dame. He had 11 catches for 96 yards in his Notre Dame career. His father was a defensive back at Syracuse. Helped the Orange to a Sugar Bowl and Outback Bowl victory when his dad was there. He was drafted in the 4th round of the 1989 draft by the Miami Dolphins, Corey Holmes' father. Kickoff goes into the end zone for a touchback, and South Carolina State will have the football back. Last time they were impressive offensively with a nice long 11-play drive. We were impressed by Nick at quarterback, as Jeff talked about the 2 times waiting to the very last second on that option pitch.
Yeah, and we're going to see them find a new wrinkle, because we saw them have success on the perimeter. We saw them this past series have success running straight inside with their dive. So let's see what other wrinkle they can add to this offensive attack, because they've had their way with this Morgan State Bear defense.
2:40 remain in the first quarter. Morgan with 11-7 lead in their MEAC opener on homecoming. South Carolina State keeps it on the ground with James. James' 5th carry of this game. James now over 30 yards running the football. James, their leading rusher, only 114 yards coming in. Last week, he had 7 attempts for only 7 yards against North Carolina A&T. 2nd and 7. Nowhere to go for James. Morgan State Bears defense closed up in a hurry. Washington was in there, number 52, another one of those linebackers who plays big for the Bears.
Well, that's the defensive effort up front you want to see. You see big number 99, Antonio McCray, straight arming an offensive tackle while making the play with his free hand, and that's what you want to see. Guys getting off blocks, guys making adjustments to stop the run.
3rd and 7 coming up for South Carolina State. Homecoming crowd getting behind their Bears defensively. Best in the MEAC on 3rd downs defensively. Here comes some pressure. Time to throw for Nick. Looking down the field, here comes the pressure and the sack. Oh, they're so quick and so aggressive. Ian McBurrow with his 2nd sack of the season.
McBurrow has to go to the sideline and thank his secondary, because that was a coverage sack. They had great coverage on the back end, nowhere for Vic to go with the football. But McBurrow, you saw that speed and acceleration, just close in and get him down on the ground.
So 4th down coming up for South Carolina State. They'll punt the football back to Morgan State. King is back to receive the punt.
Returning to Morgan State, number 22, William King.
Petaway can boom it. One of the top kickers in the MEAC. Gets off a pretty good one there. Wow, what a kick. Taken at the 31 by King. King on the return. Across the 40, and that's where he is stopped. We'll step aside. 34 seconds remain in the first quarter. The Bears with an 11-7 lead over South Carolina State.
Redskins Saints tomorrow at 8:15 on ESPN.
In Morgan State, the Bears lead South Carolina State 11-7. Ernest T. Jones's team with 89 yards of total offense compared to South Carolina State's 67 yards of total offense. Catch made by Corey Holmes. He had the touchdown. Gets the catch there at the 46-yard line. Brown made the stop.
What a catch by Corey Holmes. He went up high to grab that with one hand. You talk about a guy that only stands 6'1". He had to go to be 6'8" on that to go and get that football. Just a great job going up and snatching that with one hand. See right here on the replay, he went up and was able to help out his quarterback. Just going up and grabbing it, playing high post.
And we are through one quarter from Baltimore, Maryland. The Bears trying to win on homecoming and try to win their MEAC opener. They hold an 11-7 lead over South Carolina State on the Sports Fever television network.
Early.
Okay. He has to do golf again.
All rise.
Campus at Morgan State, and the Bears with an 11-7 lead. Riggins with the carry. The 48-yard line. Stop made by Bryce Johnson.
Also busting through on there was Paul McKeever. You talk about a guy, again, 6'4", 290, a redshirt junior, just showing quickness off the ball to disrupt initially, getting in on that tackle, that TFL. So starting to see both defensive lines come to life a bit here in the early parts of the second quarter to the tail end of the first quarter.
DeAndre Harris, 3 of 6. There's a touchdown pass, a 34-yarder to Holmes. Morgan State's touchdown. They went for 2 and got it, and Rhea had a field goal kick, and that's why they lead 11-7. Nowhere to go there for Chase. Great job by the Bulldogs front line that you just talked about. The big guys getting it done. Brown was in there. Also, you really like Paul, 6'4", 290. NFL scouts taking a look at him as well.
Yeah, I was at a game last night, Yale and Dartmouth, and they had a couple of scouts talking about kid from South Carolina State. It was like we can't watch him now, but every time we watch South Carolina State, this junior defensive tackle keeps popping up on the screen. That's Paul McKeever.
O'Shea to punt the football on a 4th down for the Bears. Ball bounces and takes a South Carolina State bounce. Don't forget, coming up next week, another MEAC game for you on the Sports Fever Television Network. We'll be in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., Delaware State and Howard. The Bison and Kalen Newton, one of the top offenses in the country. That's next week, 1 o'clock. That should be a good one. Looking forward to our trip to Howard next week.
I can't wait, man. That's going to be a very good game. New coaching staff over there at Delaware State. And we know about Coach London over there at Howard, and he's done such a great job so far and has made them very competitive very early in the MEAC.
1st and 10 with 32-yard line for the Bulldogs. Nick on the keeper around the outside. Tries to extend it, and what an outstanding job by Morgan State to stretch the play out. Marcus Parker Jr. and Whitaker were chasing him down.
Just nowhere to go right there for Nick. You see him attack the perimeter. Just had no options out there available to him. Good coverage on the back end. He just kept it in, just got what he could, got out of bounds.
Nick not really effective with his arm, just 1 of 2 for no yards and was sacked once. 2nd and 10 after no gain by the run by Nick. Bulldogs look to the sideline. Bears show pressure. A handoff to Omar Cummings. Gets a couple. And Whitaker makes the stop. He leads the MEAC in tackles. Now over 41 on the season.
And this is good defense right here by South Carolina State's offense, because what they're doing is shrinking this ball game, allowing their defense to stay on the side and get adjustments. So therefore, when they come back out, they can be extra aggressive in getting stops on Morgan State. So I love the ball control approach by Coach Buddy Pugh, and that's why they were in that ball game last week against North Carolina A&T.
3rd and 6. 25% on 3rd downs for the season for the Bulldogs. Nick to throw the football. Has time. Now here comes the pressure. Has to get rid of it in a hurry because the pressure was coming. An incomplete pass. McBurrow was bringing the pressure. Ian McBurrow was coming hard at Nick, and he had to throw it away.
Once again, just great coverage downfield by Morgan State, and that's allowing a guy like McBurrow to find freedom to just chase the quarterback. He's doing a great job in attacking the quarterback, forcing these errant throws, but it's a better job on the back end by the safeties and corners of Morgan State. The Bears secondary is playing phenomenal right now against this Bulldog offensive attack.
Head away to punt it away for the Bulldogs. William King back to receive it. The ball bounces out of bounds. Another booming kick by Petaway. Delta Hotels by Marriott, Baltimore's Hunt Valley. The Maryland and Mid-Atlantic region lodging headquarters destination for visiting college football teams and fans right off of and want. Call today or book online for a reservation. 49-yard punt for Petaway. And let's see what Morgan State can do with the football. Harris with the touchdown pass to Holmes, and Rhea with a field goal. That's the scoring for Morgan State with 12:01 to go here before the half. First and 10 for the Bears. Chase gets the handoff. Busts through the hole. Nice first down run. That was Riggins. Nice first down run. Let's head down to the field to Jeff Jajeski. Jeff?
You know, guys, those drives, the last 2 for South Carolina State, are the ones that just killed Buddy Pugh. He said earlier in this week's teleconference that we have to find a way to keep our offense on the field longer. We have to be able to sustain drives. Our defense just can't sustain playing strong defense if they're on the field every other play. So they have to string out drives like they did on the touchdown drive, or it's going to be a long day for the Bulldog defense.
Thank you, Jeff. Riggins with an 8-yard run. 2nd and short now for the Bears. Harris. Incomplete. Running out of room was White, was the intended receiver, but ran out of real estate on the sidelines. Incomplete pass. Third down coming up.
Well, this is a big third down right here for South Carolina State. You talk about Coach Pugh wanting to have his offense on the field sustaining drives. Well, this is the benefit. Your defense is aggressive. They're getting key stops. They put Morgan State now in the third down situation. Can they get off the field and get that rest once again? But Morgan State, quite as kept, has been held in check these last two offensive series. So this is a big third down for them as well. They have to find a way to stay on the field.
3rd and 2 from the 20. Morgan State 9th in the MEAC in third downs. Last year they were real good on third downs. Not the case this year. Ernest T. Jones is working on that. Harris with the keeper. Excellent job by the Bulldogs to wrap him up. Nichols was in there, stopping DeAndre Harris. So Morgan State will have to punt the football back to the Bulldogs.
It's just a great job right there, showing very good awareness by Dwayne Nichols. He could have easily taken the pitch and let the quarterback just run free, but he was able to play both really well. 9 times out of 10, you don't want to do that as a defender on the option, but he did a great job staying between the the ball carrier and the pitchman. He was able to make the stop, and now we have Morgan State punting here on 4th down.
O'Shea will punt from his 5-yard line. Boys back to receive the punt from Morgan State. Calls for a fair catch at the 49-yard line, and that's where the Bulldogs will have the ball when we get back. The Bears with an 11-7 lead over the Bulldogs of South Carolina State. It's MEAC Football on STN.
Not sorry, Reese's.
State for 103 yards. South Carolina State for 71, but South Carolina State -2 passing the football so far here in this game. 73 yards on the ground. James powers forward on that first down run, picks up 3 yards, 2nd down and 7 coming up. Aguilis made the stop for Morgan State.
It's a great open field tackle right there by A.J. Aguilis right there against the running play. If he doesn't make that tackle, 18 is still running down the field, so it's great individual effort here by Morgan State and A.J. Aguilis.
2nd down, Nick to throw the football, some pressure coming, wide open receiver, caught down at the 25-yard line. Vern out of the backfield makes the catch, his 6th catch for on of the season, and Johnson was on coverage.
Yeah, Will Vereen was on the move. He crossed through maybe 2 to 3 passing windows before he was found. It's just a great job. That's a chunk play for them. That's the type of plays in a passing game they need to have success on the ground.
Vereen to catch for 22 yards. Their first positive pass play of the game. Nick to keep it, gets the pass to Vereen. 2nd straight completion for the Bulldogs offense, and Johnson makes the stop on Vereen.
And Vereen is such a tough matchup because he's 5'11", 200 pounds, so he's built like a running back. You toss him the football, he quickly turns upfield, and he's able to make guys miss and break a couple tackles. So, again, their short passing game is just an extension of their running game, and now they're getting both ends of offense working here. That's a good drive put together here by South Carolina State.
Vereen from Little River, South Carolina, went to Myrtle Beach High School. 2nd and short. Jenkins trying to go forward, but Hill makes the stop for the Morgan State Bear defense. Just a short gain getting back to the line of scrimmage. Great play by Hill.
Hill was right there on the play, and Rico Kennedy was able to clean that up. And Rico Kennedy is a very good player, man. You talk about a guy that changed his number from 45 to 28 to honor his friend, Brandon Jackson, who played at Auburn, who passed away in that car accident. So that's why he changed from 45 to 28.
Big 3rd down, 3rd and 2 for the Bulldogs in Bear territory. Nick has to throw that football away as the snap back to him was not good, and he was being chased by Warrior. Had to get rid of it quickly.
Just a timely blitz dialed up right there by Aaron Kelton and company. You talk about these guys just flying off the ball, and this is about the 4th or 5th hit we've seen Nick take back there in the pocket. Tyrese Nick doing a great job just getting up after each and every pop. At some point, he's going to start to wear on him.
So 4th and 2 coming up for South Carolina State. Lining up for a field goal opportunity of 33 yards. Dylan Brenson in for his first field goal attempt of the season. And the kick is no good. So the Morgan State defense holds South Carolina State with the missed field goal attempt, and it's 11-7 on the Sports Fever Television Network.
multiple channel packs, and all your streaming apps in one place. This is how Xfinity makes life simple, easy, awesome.
Click, call, or visit a store today.
Homecoming in Morgan State after the missed field goal by South Carolina State. The Bears have the football back with a 1st and 10 on their 20-yard line. William King with the carry. A penalty marker comes down as King goes for 11 yards before he was stopped by a host of Bulldogs. Geathers was one of the players in there to make the stop. We'll have to wait for the penalty. Both teams have 2 penalties apiece in the first quarter. Let's see what... Rory Bernard, our official today for the MEAC crew, makes the call. The penalty on Morgan State.
See right there, number 91 was getting taken down, but just takes away a very good run. Opening play drive right there for Morgan State. Can't have those self-inflicted wounds if you're trying to be successful.
We look at DeAndre Harris as the touchdown pass. Standing next to him is William King. Here comes some pressure by the Bulldogs. Harris will keep it himself. Not much there. Blitz was dialed up by the Bulldogs, and they got there rather quickly. Alex Brown was one of the guys there to get to Harris in the backfield.
And that's what happens when you have negative plays on first down, because you just allow South Carolina State to be a little bit more aggressive on that particular play, and that's why they're able to stop you in the backfield. And you look at the down distance now, 2nd and 19. This is not the situation you want to be in if you're Morgan State. Their offense is not built to pick up plays like this, so they're going to have to try to get at least half of this on this 2nd down.
Harris 3 of 7 passing as the 34-yard touchdown to Holmes. Passing down for Harris. Will he get the time to pass the football? Steps up in the pocket. Penalty markers down. The ball is intercepted. Intercepted by South Carolina State, and Anthony makes the interception, his first interception of the season.
Yeah, good job right there by Khalik Anthony, just coming over late and picking up the ball. Just an ill-advised story. You had 2 receivers in the same area.
Wait for the penalty markers. So holding penalty on Morgan State, you'll see that here. There's the hold right there. And then the interception by Anthony, picking off DeAndre Harris.
You never want to see 2 receivers in the same play because you're just inviting 2 extra defenders. So therefore you have 4 people around the football, and you just have to know those things are going to end up bad for you as an offense. So good job by Khalik Anthony, the reserve safety, coming up, a reserve nickelback coming up with the interception.
Ernest T. Jones' offense turns the football over, puts their defense into a spot. South Carolina State, good field position after the interception. See if they can cash in on the turnover. Nick throws out of the backfield, and the completion to Cummings. Cummings with a nice run. Stopped by Whitaker, but not after getting into the red zone. Cummings gets all the way down to the 11-yard line. That little swing pass out to Omar Cummings.
Yeah, Omar Cummings, another redshirt freshman. We've seen a ton of youth on this team on both sides of the ball for South Carolina State, so that's partly the reason why they're not having as much success on the season. They got a lot of young guys playing, a lot of young guys getting involved.
Greer with the carry on the first down, takes it inside the 10-yard line to the 8. Whitaker and McCray make the stop for Morgan State.
Going up-tempo here, no huddle.
6:20 before the half. Let's see what they can do. Nick with the pitch to Cummings. Fights inside the 5-yard line and nearly got into the end zone. Was hit right at the 2-yard line by Whitaker, keeping him out of the end zone. But South Carolina State is set up down at the 1-yard line now.
He was able to pick up the first, but they've had some issues here being a little bit passive on the outside on the perimeter runs. You want to be a little bit more of a force and come up and make that stop.
Morgan State takes a timeout with 6:04 to go before the half. South Carolina State 1 yard away from taking the lead on the Sports Fever Television Network.
Every day.
One cup of lemonade. Time time to pack up, kids.
NFL Sunday Ticket. Get every live game every Sunday at no extra charge when you switch to DirecTV. More for your thing. That's our thing.
State with a first and goal on the 1 yard line. Jenkins had the short touchdown run, the Bulldogs' first touchdown of the game, looking for their second to regain the lead. Nick takes it himself and in the end zone for the touchdown for the Bulldogs. The quarterback calls his own number and puts South Carolina State back on top.
This is a smart play right here by Tyrese Nix. You talk about a guy that read the option prematurely on a couple of plays early in this game, but you saw him right there just try to find a soft spot in that defense to plow through for the touchdown. 9 times out of 10, you see a quarterback just bury his head and try to burrow his way behind one of his linemen, but he found open space and found 6.
South Carolina State takes advantage of the interception and the turnover by Morgan State. They go 4 plays, 33 yards, 1:02 off the clock. Nick in from 1 yard out, and the Bulldogs back on top, 14-11.
NA.com.
There we are, high above Hughes Stadium. Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Mike Mataraki, my spotter. Phil Shaner with you on homecoming. MEAC opener for Morgan State. Glad to be on MeTV, WPAL's digital channel. MeTV providing all the Morgan State home games this season. Great partnership between WBAL, MeTV Baltimore, and Morgan State. Cofield with the return, still on his feet. This kid's dangerous. A good return, gets knocked out of bounds. Gets out at the 34-yard line. Durant knocked him out of bounds. Let's see what Morgan State can do if they can answer the 4-play, 33-yard drive after the interception by Harris. Harris threw the interception. And South Carolina State made them pay for it with the 1-yard touchdown run.
Well,
Ernest T. Jones, there he is. Sorry, Emery.
Well, this is why their offense has to come out and really pay it forward to bail out their defense. They put their defense in a bad spot on that last series, and their offense really has to come out and get back to what worked earlier in the game. They were able to run the football, keep them off balance, with their option game. They found some success throwing the football to their tight end on the outside and also on the perimeter with their receivers. So got to get back to that if they want to have the success they had in the first quarter.
South Carolina State was showing pressure, and I believe they jumped. Penalty marker comes out after Chase's carry. Gilchrist made the stop. I think the Bulldogs were a little too anxious. Rory Bernard, our official, makes the call. Offsides penalty. 3rd penalty of the game on South Carolina State. Put the Bears in a 1st and 5 situation for Ernest T. Jones. The offensive coordinator the last couple of years took over for Fred T. Ferrier, who's now on the South Carolina State coaching staff. Fred T. is back at Morgan State here today as a member of the Bulldogs coaches the wide receivers, and assistant associate coach as well for South Carolina State. Chase with the carry, close to a first down. It'll bring up a 2nd and 2 coming up for the Bears.
Look at that block out there on the perimeter by left tackle Josh Miles. He's doing a good job up front now as far as clearing space. And Miles is one of those guys, a redshirt senior, that, again, we talk about pro scouts. They have a lot of interest in what he's doing up there along the offensive front.
2nd and 2. Bears trail 14-11. Chase spins off a tackle, stays on his feet. Depend on the spot if he got the first down. The Bulldogs.
Big number 97, Tyrell Goodwin, blew that play up, and he's slow to get up as well. He was initially the one that made that stop, and you see, writhing in pain, Joshua Chase on the ground.
Chase is the injured Bear. 7 carries, 19 yards so far on the day. 2 injured players. Goodwin down, and Chase. So an injured Bear and an injured Bulldog, with 5:05 remaining before the half.
And just when I made the case for Josh Miles, you saw Goodwin, who's injured right there on the ground, fight across his face to be in on that tackle, and you saw him quickly grab his arm, which is already in some sort of brace. So hopefully he's okay. He's going to get up here. But just a great play, defensive play right there. I know defensive line coaches will be excited to see that because, again, you fight across the offensive lineman face, get your free arm involved in the tackle.
The Delta Hotels by Marriott, Baltimore, Hunt Valley, Maryland, and Mid-Atlantic region lodging headquarters destination for visiting college football teams and fans right off of Interstate 83. The Delta Hotels by Marriott, Baltimore, Hunt Valley has everything you need and want. Call today or book online for a reservation. It's our official lodging partner of Sports Fever Television Network. There's a look at the two head coaches having a little chat on the sideline. Ernest T. Jones, first year as head coach, and Buddy Pugh in his 17th season as the head coach at South Carolina State.
That's a lot of defensive football right there in your picture screen, because Ernest T. Jones was a very good defensive player both in college and also as a collegiate coach, and Buddy Pugh is one of the best defensive minds in football, well respected not only at the FCS level but throughout college football and at the pro level. A lot of people seek out Buddy Pugh's advice for how to play defense.
Well, I'm sure that Coach Pugh didn't give him any advice in the middle of the game, but maybe in the offseason. Joshua Chase gets up and gets off the field. That's a good sign for Bear fans. Chase got the first down run. So the Bears trying to retake the lead. They were down 7-3, and then they scored a touchdown on Harris's touchdown pass to Holmes, went for two and got it, and led 11-7. And then the interception that Harris threw was cashed in by a Bulldog touchdown, and South Carolina State leads at 14-11. Harris uses his legs, powers across the 45-yard line and down to the 46 before he was stopped by Wilson.
That play had the look of a big play, the single quarterback power, but just a great job recovering for South Carolina State. Right here, just guys getting off blocks and beating their blocks to the punch and making a stop for a minimal gain. But that play initially looked like it was going to pop because they had two linemen pulling front side, ready to put some pain on some defenders.
Look at Corey Holmes there, who has the touchdown, a 34-yard catch. The transfer from Notre Dame. Had a big week 2 weeks ago, 3 catches in the win over North Carolina A&T. And across the middle, the catch by Poland takes the Bears into Bulldog territory. Down to the 41-yard line, that moves the chains.
Yeah, great job right there by Darian Poland, breaking tackles, but I wouldn't expect anything less from a 6'1", 215-pound redshirt junior catching that football over the middle of the field and turning right upfield and picking up the first down.
13-yard pickup on the catch by Poland from Harris. The Bears 1st and 10 now in Bulldog territory. Give to Riggins, goes right side, not much there. Wilson there to bottle him up and stop him at the line of scrimmage.
Great job right there by the Bulldogs, just maintaining the line of scrimmage. There was nowhere to go. They didn't get pushed. They didn't get pushed back. They just kind of stayed right there at the point of attack and made things tough for the tailback. See right there, McKeever, one of the big-time playmakers on this defense. He's back in the ball game. Got to breathe on the sideline. Let's see how active he can be on the 2nd and long.
3 minutes to go before the half. Harris throws the football short. Had an open receiver at the 40-yard line, but threw it short of his intended receiver, and incomplete. 3rd down coming up. So 3rd downs, this is an area that Oregon State has struggled on all season, not only all season, but today, Emory, they're 0-4 on 3rd downs. Remember, 1-1 on 4th downs, but 3rd downs not so good, 0-4. Coming into the game, only 19% on 3rd downs. This is a 3rd and long passing situation for Harris. Hopes to have time. Sets up the pass to King. King still on his feet and gets out of bounds and gets the 1st down. That was impressive. Great block by White to free up King to get the extra yards.
You're going to see right here on the replay, nice slow crosser set up perfectly. 2 great blocks on the perimeter by receivers, clearing space for him to get to the sideline and turn it up and pick up the 1st down in that 3rd long. It's a heck of a job. Big plays happen 9 times out of 10 because receivers are blocking downfield. They did a great job in helping out their fellow teammate catch that pass and run a long way.
Yeah, White was the receiver that had that block. That doesn't show up in the stat sheet, but that's a big thing, wide receivers blocking downfield. Harris straight ahead on the 1st down. Not a bad first down play, picks up 4 yards. Jones makes the stop for the Bulldogs.
And that's a big play that was needed by Morgan State. See right here, the quarterback draw. They're starting to mix in a lot of the quarterback run here. Their running backs haven't had the success later in this ball game, but Harris has found some room to run throughout the course of the first and second quarter.
35 yards on the ground for Harris. 2nd and 5. Penalty markers down. Harris almost threw a second interception of the game, and that could have went the distance the opposite way. Almost picked off by Durant. Durant has 1 interception, and Durant, if he would have had that, he would have been running for a long time.
Yeah, Jacoby Durant, Lamar, South Carolina, Lamar High School, another guy that just read that perfectly. And if you're Corey Holmes, you have to understand where you are and come back to the football. He just kind of drifted back and let the defensive back cut in front of him.
Bruce Trigg called for the holding penalty, the right tackle, a redshirt sophomore. Oh, that's one of those plays he's going to say to himself, could have pictured himself going in for the long touchdown on homecoming on the road. Durant, love to have that one back. Harris almost threw a second interception of the game. That was a close call.
Those are plays you have to make.
2nd and 15 now. William King gets the handoff, sidesteps a tackler, still on his feet, takes a hit. William King with a nice run, and a late penalty marker comes down after the run by King as Brown and Robinson combined on the tackle.
Yeah, you kind of saw that hole out there on the perimeter. This nullifies a great run right there by King, hopping over the defender in the backfield. But you saw the receiver out there on the outside grab hold and drag his guy to the ground.
Morgan State averaging 93 yards a game, penalty yards. That's an area they need to clean up.
Dalen Baldwin out there, the receiver on the hole. Tough to get away with it when you're 6'3", 215. They're going to catch you.
Yep, 4 penalties on the afternoon for Morgan State. Second and 15 yet again for the Bears. 1:30 to go before the half. Morgan State trying to regain the lead. Harris sidesteps a tackler and then gets the ball batted right in front of him by Wilson. Wilson was in Harris's face and got his big paws on the football.
You know, when you watch South Carolina State play, you just kind of come away thinking, you know, this team is not as bad as their record may indicate. You talk about a defense that's active, aggressive. They're stopping the run. They're getting pressure on the QB, and on the back end, they're turning the ball over. So this is a good football team. Just have to find ways to be consistent to get that victory.
Morgan State trying to convert again on a 3rd down, 3rd and long, 3rd and 16. Riggins in the backfield next to Harris. Harris from the gun, throws sidelines, incomplete. Looking for White, the intended receiver at the 20-yard line, and a 4th down coming up for the Morgan State Bears, trailing 14-11. Take a look at the hit that Harris takes after the pass, Emerald.
You want to play college football? You want to play quarterback at the Division I level? Those are the type of hits you're going to take and you're going to have to take to get the pass off. Just a great defensive series right here, rebounding by South Carolina State, forcing a field goal attempt here for Morgan State.
51-yarder, the career long for Alex Rea, who's perfect on field goals this season. He's going to try a 52-yarder. This would be his career best. Rea has plenty of leg, but it is short and wide left. So Rea not able to connect. That's his first missed field goal of the season. 4 of 5 on field goal attempts. 1:12 remain before the half on the Sports Fever Television Network, our MEAC College Football Game of the Week. And we have another MEAC College Football Game of the Week next week for you. Delaware State and Howard. We'll get a look at Kalen Newton and the Howard Bison taking on Delaware State. The Hornets and the Bison next week, 1 o'clock kickoff from Washington, D.C.
I believe that's Howard's homecoming as well.
Howard's first home game of the season. They haven't played at home yet this year. They had a game obviously postponed because of the hurricane when they were supposed to play Savannah State. And then Howard will be here at Hughes Stadium in 2 weeks for a 7 o'clock game on the Sports Fever Television Network. The Bulldogs with the ball back. And Nick trying to run, get a positive play.
Good job by Rico Kennedy and company to stringing it out. We saw this play happen a lot in the first quarter where he slow played that option and he suckered Morgan State in. This time Morgan State was ready for it and had 3 defenders in his face and read that option perfectly.
Whitaker now with 3 tackles for a loss on the season. 4-yard loss. Nick ran out of bounds. Final 30 seconds of the first half. Nick with the give to Cummings. Not much running room there at all by this nasty defense of the Bears. Washington, the freshman, makes the stop from DeMatha. Catholic. They expect a lot of big things. 52 Washington has worked his way into this lineup. That'll be the final play of the first half. We are through one half of football here at Homecoming in Baltimore, Maryland. South Carolina State Bulldogs lead Morgan State 14-11. Our Sports Fever Television Network halftime show is coming up. We'll get a word from Coach Ernest T. Jones down on the field with Jeff to get his thoughts on the first half before we go to break and start our Sports Fever Television Network halftime show on Homecoming here on the campus of Morgan State University.
See what adjustments are made in the break. Come out to make this an even more exciting game than it was in the first half.
And Ernest T. Jones is getting in position next to Jeff down on the sidelines. And let's get some thoughts from Ernest T. Jones about the first half. Jeff?
Thank you, Phil. Coach, back and forth first half. Obviously gave him the short field to score and take the lead. What are your overall impressions on the first half?
Oh, man, that's they're playing good football over there. That option is giving us some problems right here. We got to go in there and talk about how to slow that quarterback down with the option. And I think that's what our issue is right now. If we can figure out how to stop the option, stop the quarterback, I think we'll be fine.
And offensively, what can you do to get going more on the offensive side?
We got to run the football a little bit more. We throwing the football a little bit more than we've been doing in the past. We got to come out of the second half and run the football. That's what we got to do.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
Ernest T. Jones is sticking to it. Run the football.
I love it.
That's his motto this season. We're at the half. South Carolina State with a 14-11 lead over the Morgan State Bears. We'll be back with the Sports Fever Television Network halftime show coming up.
Everybody say Morgan!
No annual fee.
No annual fee on any card. Only from Discover.
State Bulldogs 14-11 at the break, getting ready for the magnificent marching machine. The Morgan State pride of Morgan State University. Their band and the halftime show always extra special with the homecoming activities here on campus. And Morgan State's been pretty good on homecoming. They won last year. We at Sports Fever Television Network was here with the only win of the season last year over Savannah State. That was on homecoming. They're 13-4 since 2001 during homecoming. It was a big day back in 2001. The newly renovated Hughes Stadium. The Bears' first homecoming game at Hughes Stadium in 3 years. And they had a big win over Savannah State that day, 26-0. There was 14,000 fans piled in here at Hughes Stadium on October 13th, 2001. We'll get ready to take a little listen to the magnificent marching machine of Morgan State when they get started. The Bears with 141 yards of total offense. South Carolina State with 133 yards of total offense. South Carolina State was able to take advantage of the Morgan State interception. We'll step aside. We'll hear from the band and also from Jeff, with special guest down on the field as the Sports Fever Television Network halftime report rolls on from Baltimore, Maryland. South Carolina State with a 14-11 lead.
Wait for impact.
Hunter Killer, rated R, in theaters October 26th.
The magnificent marching band, the pride of Morgan State University, and they have an extra step in their dance today because they just found out they'll represent the university, represent the state of Maryland and the University of Morgan State at the Macy's Day Parade in New York City. Thanksgiving Macy's Day Parade. The magnificent marching band will be there in New York. They're super excited about that. Let's go down to the field to Jeff. Down on the field,
joined down here on the field by Wesley Watley, creative producer of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Obviously, you're here for a reason. You just got to announce a great honor. Why don't you tell the folks at home what just happened?
Yeah, well, we just surprised the kids here with the news that they'll be performing next fall in the 2019 Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
And tell us what goes into that decision-making. You're the head of the committee picking the band, so what caught your eye from this group? How did you come to pick them?
Yeah, this year we received over 100 applications. We selected only 11 lucky bands from across the U.S. Here they have the energy. Oregon State has the pageantry. They're so much fun, super entertaining, and we know they're going to deliver that entertainment to our crowds on the New York City streets next fall.
And Wesley, the final question I have for you. Obviously, you're looking for that energy. You want them to bring it. Tell us a little bit more just about what you expect from the parade and what you expect the bands to bring.
Sure. Next fall, they're going to perform for 3.5 million spectators on the street, over 50 million people live on television. For these students, they're going to represent the Morgan State community in front of a national audience, and they're going to have a ball doing it. We can't wait to host them next fall.
Certainly a great honor for Morgan State and the band. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's our pleasure. Thank you.
Phil?
That's big news for the magnificent marching machine heading to the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Day Parade next fall in New York City. Let's take a listen to the magnificent marching machine, the pride of Morgan State University. And there you have it, the magnificent marching machine entertaining the folks here on homecoming at Morgan State. They hope their Bears can come back in the second half. The Bulldogs with a 14-11 lead at the half.
Guarantee. Dickies Flex, engineered to move. Learn more at dickies.com.
Your way with the Bulldogs, the 14-11 lead on the Bears. Second half of the MEAC opener for the Morgan State Bears on homecoming. Cofield with the return across the 40-yard line and down to the 43-yard line. Great return by Cofield. 38-yard return. Here's the scoring. Alex Rea started things off at a 6-play, 17-yard drive, 35-yard field goal. And then Jenkins scores for South Carolina State in from 11 yards out. Harris to Holmes for the touchdown from 34 yards. Morgan State went back on top, and then Nick with a 1-yard touchdown run. That's where we stand at the half, 14-11. Riggins on the carry. Stopped at the 47-yard line.
Yeah, they don't lose much when they go from Joshua Chase to Jordan Riggins. Both guys are 6 feet, 220 pounds. They can really run. They run behind their pads, good pad level, and they're able to move the sticks.
Second down for the Bears. And a whistle and a penalty. Morgan State flagged 5 times in that first half. And another Morgan State penalty. Let's head down on the field to Jeff. What do you got, Jeff?
Yeah, I talked to Coach Buddy Pugh just a second ago off camera, and he said, listen, on offense, we just need to stay on the field on third downs. We need to convert, keep the ball on the field, get our defensive rest. And he said, defensively, we just need to keep forcing them to throw the ball. If we keep stopping the run and make them beat us with the pass, we have a good chance of coming away with our first victory of the year.
Harris runs into his own player and falls down at the 40-yard line, and he's getting up very slowly. He might have injured himself in that play, Emery.
You saw him run right into big number 76, a guy whose name we called all broadcasting, Paul McKeever, using the lineman as an additional weapon to push him back into the quarterback to make the stop.
He was using Thompson, the right guard, like a sandwich to get his way to Harris. And Harris got up a little gingerly for Coach Jones's quarterback, DeAndre Harris from Washington, Georgia. Coach Buddy Pugh said, how did Harris end up at Morgan State right in our own backyard?
Exactly.
They do a great job of recruiting South Carolina, this South Carolina State Bulldogs. Harris with the completion for Gravetti, short of midfield.
Yeah, Jacoby Durant has been doing a great job defensively. He has an interception. He's made that stop right there. He's been in on a couple of plays. And just a great form tackle right there. Get your head across, wrap your arms up, bring down the ball carrier.
So a short gain by Gervais on the catch, and now a 4th down. The boy is back for the punt. Nicholas O'Shea will do the punting, averaging 36 yards, his longest 61-yarder this year punting. Oh, they went for the fake. They're going to turn it over on downs. So they gambled before on a 4th down. It paid off, but not this time.
Gravetti has to make that catch. I know he's a freshman. That's a big moment for him, but he has to come down with that grab. They gambled, tried to get the big play, but he just couldn't haul it in. That's a catch you expect him to make in that situation.
O'Shea with the fake punt. Going to Gravetti, a little over his head. That's the punter throwing the football, though. I don't know how much he's practiced throwing the ball. But you're right, 6'4", 190-pound freshman needs to come down with that grab, especially when you're going to take a chance like that. So now South Carolina State gets the ball back in Bear territory, 46-yard line. Greer with the carry across the 45 down to the 44. Washington made the stop for the Bears.
If you're South Carolina State, you have a lead right here. You want to start working on that defensive front. You see them sticking to the script. They're just going to run downhill, try to create opportunities one-on-one on the perimeter, whether that's going to be for the option or for a quick pass. But they've really tested this Morgan State interior defensive line well throughout this ball game.
2nd and 8 for the Bulldogs. The option look by Nick. He'll keep it himself. Nick has the 1st down and more, cuts up and gets out of bounds at the 30. The impressive run there of 15 yards picked up by the quarterback, Nick.
Yeah, Tyrese Nick has done a great job playing with fire, quite honestly, on that option, holding it to the last possible minute, getting 2 defenders to commit before he keeps it and gets outside and picks up the 1st.
1st and 10. Nick looks for the option, keeps it himself, and gets hit in the backfield. Hit by Whitaker, who's made a couple of big tackles. He leads the conference in tackles. Whitaker there to bring down Nick.
Wasn't fooled by the option play, stood home, kept his responsibilities simple. I'm going to take the quarterback. That's my job, and he was able to bring him on the ground for a big loss.
Whitaker's played big, and so has this entire Morgan State defense. 2nd and 12. Bulldogs and the Bears 32-yard line. Just underway 2nd half. Nick, the quick hitter, the right.
That's my job, and he was able to bring him on the ground for a big loss.
Whitaker's played big, and so has this entire Morgan State defense. 2nd and 12. Bulldogs and the Bears 32-yard line. Just underway 2nd half. Nick, the quick hitter, the right side, and the completion there to Baxley. Short gain, gets back to the original line of scrimmage, just a 2-yard pickup. Rico Kennedy in on the play.
And Malachi Jenkins as well, redshirt freshman strong safety. So perimeter defense is going to be key in the second half here for both teams. And we've seen Morgan State slip up on a run play, but we saw them answer on 2 consecutive plays as far as making plays out in space. That's going to be huge in the second half.
3rd and 9 for the Bulldogs. Morgan State wants their homecoming crowd to get behind them here on this big 3rd down, early part of the second half.
Who is the loudest man in the stand?
Nick fires across the middle and incomplete. He was looking for Burrows, and it was over his head. 4th down coming up for the Bulldogs.
What's interesting about that route was it was a 2-man route, but he focused in on that particular play. He was going to throw that football regardless, and they didn't have the opening for him to make that completion. I would rather him take it outside and try to create something extra with his legs, but this is why you have to be a little bit of a balanced attack nowadays in college football. You can't just rely solely on one thing to lead you to victory. And if you're South Carolina State, you kind of mismanaged the situation, getting the ball where you got the football from that missed fake punt attempt by Morgan State.
Nick is 5 of 9 for 52 yards passing. And they'll take the delay of game, give their punter a little more room to punt the football. Petaway is an excellent punter. It's really been a weapon for South Carolina State. Hard to believe that South Carolina State has not won a football game. First time ever under Coach Pugh. His Bulldogs are 0-4.
Pugh is a really good coach, man. And again, the record is not indicative of how this team has really been playing out here today.
And that punt goes into the end zone for the touchback. And we'll step aside. 9:43 to go, 3rd quarter. Bulldogs with a 14-11 lead. MEAC Game of the Week on the Sports Fever Television Network. In these 2 schools, the Bulldogs lead the overall series 31-6-1 since 1971. Last Morgan State win was in 2014, the last time these 2 teams played in Baltimore, 24-21 win. Bears trying to get things going offensively with Jordan Riggins. And let's head down to the field. Jeff has an injury report for us on the Morgan State sidelines. Jeff?
Thanks, Phil. A couple of injury updates here for the Morgan State offense. Freshman tight end Jack McCracken's going to be done for the game. His left knee was put in his left knee was wrapped up. He's on crutches. He's going to be out for the rest of the game. Chase still warming up on the sideline, trying to get back out there, but we still haven't seen him again here since he went down with the knee injury as well.
Thank you, Jeff, for those injury updates. 2nd and 8. Riggins in, gets tackled in the backfield for a 2-yard loss. Gilchrist, who's been very big, came into this game as the leading tackler for South Carolina State. 5th in the MEAC coming in. Chad Gilchrist has been all over the place from Johnston, South Carolina.
South Carolina State has done a great job in slipping blocks in the 2nd quarter and now here in the early parts of the 3rd quarter. I think that's an impressive trait so far defensively for this Bulldog squad, and it's causing a lot of problems for Morgan State. That's why you haven't seen their running game have success with either the quarterback or the running back in this ball game.
Morgan State 1 of 7 on 3rd downs with 3rd and 9 here. Harris has the completion, the quick hitter to Bailey. The 25-yard line, but short of the 1st down, and 4th down coming up for Morgan State. They'll have to punt the football back to the Bulldogs.
Watch how quickly he closes on the ball carry. That's just a great job. And you talk about a defense, and we talk about Buddy Pugh and how good of a job he's done with this program. You talk about Javon Hargrave going to the NFL. Darius Leonard leading the league in tackles right now as a rookie linebacker. So he knows how to recruit. He knows how to develop. We're seeing it out here on display with this young football team.
O'Shea's to punt it away for Morgan State. Always calls for a fair catch, and he does so. And the South Carolina State Bulldogs will have the ball back. Delta, 39-yard punt. And don't forget, for football fans in Western Pennsylvania, Clarion Holiday Inn Express Suites is an outstanding new hotel just off of exit 62 off of I-80 in Clarion. Free high-speed internet, free breakfast buffet, indoor pool, fitness center, and more. Call for reservations, Clarion Holiday Inn Express, your Sports Fever TV headquarters in Western PA. Big crowd, homecoming, Hughes Stadium, hoping that their Bears could have another homecoming victory. Their only win of the season last year over Savannah State was on homecoming, trailing 14-11. Completion made for the Bulldogs. Nick hasn't completed many. That's only his 6th completion of the game, 6 of 10.
Number 83, Alex Surratt.
Surratt made the catch. Surratt, a redshirt freshman. Coach Pugh has a very young team as well, Emery, up and down the lineup. A lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores on the field for this team. 2nd and 1 after Surratt catch. Big run here into Bears territory and a first down, and a late penalty comes down on the run by James. James's 8th carry of the game. Over 40 yards on the afternoon. Johnson made the stop. We'll have to see what the penalty marker is all about.
It's going to be a hold on South Carolina State.
Officiating crew works out the call. Five penalties on South Carolina State, 6 for Morgan State in this game this afternoon. See if you can see the hold here on this replay, Emery.
Yeah, right there. Was able to grab. Had a nice hold right there on McBurrows. I'm sorry, on Whitaker. He grabbed Whitaker.
Here's Coach Fred T. Ferrier, former Morgan State head coach. Now coaching the wide receivers in South Carolina State, his first year. Buddy Pugh brought in a lot of new assistants on a team that went 3-7 last year and 2-6 in the conference. It was only the 3rd losing season under Pugh.
It went from 1st and 10 to 2nd and 5 or 2nd and 7 to now 2nd and 11. So they're going in the wrong direction because of 2 penalties back to back, which is not what you want if you're South Carolina State.
Buddy Pugh only 9 wins away from becoming the all-time winningest coach in school history at South Carolina State. It's a rebuilding process for Coach Pugh. He's not really used to that. They're always a top team in the MEAC, but they struggled the last couple of years. Completion out of the backfield to Greer and into Morgan State territory for the first down. That was a well-designed play. Great play call. Garnes was the one that made the stop after Greer made the run and catch.
Yeah, for Rocker Greer, catching the football out of Lancaster High School in Lancaster, South Carolina. And this is the extent of South Carolina State's passing game. Just dump-offs here in the outlet, maybe a deep shot once in a while on the post or something like that. But for the most part, it's a short, quick passing game that really just complements what they do on the ground.
22-yard pickup with the Greer catch and run. 1st and 10 now from the Bears' 40-yard line. Nick with the option. We said that was going to be dangerous. He waited to the last second and pitched it out, and the fumble recovered by Whitaker. We talked and said the way Nick, remember twice early on, waited to the very last second. You said that's going to turn into a turnover. Well, it just did there.
Just did there. You have to be smart with the football on the option. When you have the initial rush by the defense, quickly pitch that ball out there, give your running back a chance to make a play out in space, but he holds it, which allows the pitch guy to recover and now puts both players, quarterback and running back, in a bind to where that play doesn't have any chance of success. Now, it worked a couple of times for him in this ball game, like you said. At some point, it's going to bite him in the rear, and it did right there on that one. Big turnover for Morgan State.
And there is Whitaker, who made the big play to get the ball back for the Bears, so a turnover. Cummings couldn't handle the ball, and Whitaker does the job defensively. See if the Bears can cash in on the turnover. Morgan State had the interception that South Carolina was able to score on in a short field. Let's see if the Bears could do the same to the Bulldogs. King with the carry and loses a couple of yards. A negative play on the first down carry. Tackled back at the 40-yard line, a loss of 3 yards.
Good job right there by linebacker B.J. Davis, a freshman getting in there, 6'2", 189. Again, when you have the depth that they have and not afraid to utilize guys who, let's say from a height, weight, speed perspective, may not be ideal, they have long, angular linebackers, and they're able to run to the football in droves and make plays just like they did right there on that particular one.
2nd and 13. Harris is going to run and gets out of bounds at the 41-yard line. Gilchrist was chasing him down.
They always say the front end helps out the back end, but we've seen in this game for both teams, the back end help out the front end. There was nowhere to go with the football downfield for Harris. And when you look at South Carolina State's defense flowing to the football, you saw a lot of white jerseys corralling the quarterback right there. 5 guys around him, nowhere to go with the football, not even anywhere to pick up yards on the ground, so they had to do the next best thing. Step out of bounds, a little bit under down.
Harris, the leading rusher for Morgan State, with 33 yards against a defense that ranks dead last in the MEAC against the rush. Harris with the completion to White into Bulldog territory down at the 42-yard line, and that'll be a first down. Tackle made by B.J. Davis, tackling White, but after the pickup for the first down.
Deontay White with a nice grab. All hands right there, making a move and getting upfield.
King with a nice first down run. And again, that's what Morgan State football wants. They want those nice running yards on first down. If they can get a nice gain like they did there by William King, that's what they want to establish. Coach Jones said it to Jeff. We want to run, and then we want to run. King was stopped and then wanted to pitch the ball back to Harris, but the play was whistled dead at the line of scrimmage.
Now, on the depth chart here, King is listed as a wide receiver, so they're getting him involved in the backfield, and he has that second gear that causes problems. You talk about a guy that can really get that step on the linebacker, as you saw in that first down play, but heads-up play here by King.
Too bad the whistle blew. He
Exactly.
couldn't get it back to Harris. Well, Joshua Chase, of course, is injured, as Jeff gave us an update, trying to get back in this game, but unable to. So then next up on that depth chart is Jordan Riggins, and to give him a break, you go to William King as your third back. Morgan has not been good this season or today on third downs. 3rd and 7 for the Bears here. Harris tries to get the first down with his legs. Tackled at the 35-yard line, and Lane Jones made the stop. Jones over 20 tackles this season in West Oak High School in South Carolina.
It's that gray area right here where it's a 52-yard field goal. You don't want to kick it unless you have to, but you don't want to punt it, so you may see them go for it here on 4th and short.
So 4th and 2 for the Bears. 1 of 2 on 4th downs. They're better on 4th downs than they are on 3rd downs in this game. 4th and 2. Harris wants the football. The give to King. He has the first down. King gains 4 yards and moves the sticks. Big play by William King.
Where he causes a problem for a defense is because, like I said before, he's listed as a wide receiver. So when he's out there in the backfield, they're in 3-4 wide receiver sets, not necessarily a running back. So you still have to be cautious of whether or not he's going to get the ball as a running back or be out in the pattern as a receiver.
2:20 remains here in the 3rd quarter. King with the carry. Fights his way for a couple of yards. Bryce Johnson brings him down for the Bulldogs after a 4-yard gain by William King.
Never let anyone tell you size is a skill. This guy is 5'8", 175, and we've seen him break numerous tackles today in the running game. So I like what I'm seeing here from William King. Good job running the football and spelling Chase and company out there in the backfield.
1:50 remains here in the 3rd quarter. Riggins in the game now. Fake the Riggins. Harris has it himself. Right side. Takes a big hit. And he is down. Hit by Durant. Durant hits him low, and Harris went up and over after Durant took his legs out.
Yeah. You talk about DeAndre Harris, 6'4", 210. He's not a sudden guy. He's a long strider. So if he gets out in the open field with the lane, he can pick up yards and chunks. So right here where he has to make a move, we saw him make one early in the game on the defender. Maybe this is payback for him. He got him in space, but good job right there by Jacoby Durant getting payback.
3rd and 3. 1:10 remain here in the 3rd quarter. Morgan State trying to get back on top, down 14 11. Riggins with the carry. Not much there, so now you're going to have another 4th down situation. Of course, a little closer for Alex Rea field goal attempt. Gilchrist and Johnson made the stop for South Carolina, stopping Jordan Riggins, the junior running back.
Yeah, Riggins saw the cutback initially and just couldn't trust himself to get there. He tried, but it's great contained defense right there on the perimeter by South Carolina State, making a stop, forcing this field goal attempt here by the Bears.
40-yard attempt by Alex Rea. Rea 4 or 5 this season in field goals, had the big kicks in the North Carolina A&T game. This 30-yarder is up, and the kick is no good. Alex Rea has missed 2 field goals in this game, and with 27 seconds to go before the third quarter, South Carolina State 14, Morgan State 11. Alex Rea misses the 40-yard field goal.
Yeah, like you said, he missed 2 field goals in this ball game, coming off a spectacular performance against North Carolina A&T. You want to see him continue to have that confidence, and you see his teammates doing a great job of patting him on the butt, patting him on the head, say, hey, man, we're going to need you later on in this ball game. Stay up. It's going to be okay. You're a good player. And, again, this is a guy that has done it before. We've seen him in the biggest of games. He's got to find that confidence and that stroke once again to get back going.
Rea started off the scoring. He had the 35-yard field goal in the first quarter and a 3-0 lead. South Carolina State with a football back after the missed field goal by Rea. Cummings gets the first carry back to the line of scrimmage, and that's as far as he would get. 2nd and 10. 10 seconds remain here in the third quarter. That'll be the last play of the third quarter. So South Carolina State looking for their first win of the season. Has a 14-11 lead over Morgan State on homecoming. Fourth quarter's coming up next on STN.
New Dayquil Severe with Vicks VapoCool. The daytime coughing, stuffy head, vaporize your cold medicine.
University scores from around the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. Howard with a trailing North Carolina Central 14-12 in the second quarter. Mississippi Valley State, Bethune-Cookman at 4 o'clock. Norfolk State, Florida A&M at 4. And tonight, Charleston Southern and Savannah State and North Carolina A&T and Delaware State tonight in the MEAC. Pass was incomplete. Nick's pass complete. Veron was the intended receiver. Veron had a couple of big catches in this second half for the Bulldogs, unable to come up with that one.
That Norfolk State FAMU game is going to be huge in conference. Both teams are playing some great football right now. Norfolk State's defense looks outstanding. And on this previous play, again, 2 receivers in the same area means you're going to have 2 defenders in the same area. It's not ideal, which you want in your passing game. This is a big 3rd and 10 for South Carolina State at the junction of this ball game.
South Carolina State 2 and 7 on third downs. 2 and 7 on third downs today. Big third down here for the Bulldogs. Trying to dial up the right play. Nick, incomplete. Miscommunication at the wide receiver. And Nick on that play looking for Baxley. Baxley went in, the ball went to the sidelines. So 4th and 10, the Bears are going to have the football back.
Starting to see Morgan State affect the pocket a bit. He gets hit right here low on the legs, but starting to get Tyrese Nick a little bit skittish in the pocket here because of the pressure. So you're starting to see their pressure turn up, affect the passing game of South Carolina State. We're going to see what the offense can do for Morgan State as they get the ball back once again. Can they get points up on the board and retake the lead?
Head away to punt from his 8-yard line. White to receive it. Catches it and immediately gets hit for no return. Big hit by Baxley. Delta Hotels by Marriott, Baltimore, Hunt Valley, the Maryland and Mid-Atlantic region lodging headquarters destination for visiting college football teams and fans right off of Interstate 83. The Delta Hotels by Marriott, Baltimore, Hunt Valley has everything you need and more. Call today and book online for a reservation. So the Bears trail 14-11 here in the fourth quarter after the 41-yard punt by Petaway. And a 1st and 10 for Morgan State on homecoming. 2 weeks ago, shocked the FCS with a win over the number 4 Aggies on the road. 16-13. They want to follow that up with back-to-back wins. Harris keeps it himself. 6-yard pickup on the first down by Harris. Stop made by Rod Perry.
When you have quick 3 and outs, you have the defense just kind of getting back on the field, getting tired, getting winded, and so they're going to need their offense to have long, sustained drives if they want to be successful.
We'll get to Jeff on the field in a second after this play. 2nd and 4 after the 6-yard pickup by Harris. Give up the middle to William King. Let's head down to the field for an update with Jeff Jajeski. Jeff?
Thanks, Phil. This really is a massive drive here on the defensive side of the ball for Buddy Pugh in South Carolina State, and really the whole fourth quarter. He talked about earlier this week how this is a unique position for him. He's used to having 4th and 5th-year seniors out on the field there for his team that have been through the league, that know this league. Now he's got a bunch of young guys that he's really just trying to get up to speed here late in the season and try to get that first win on the board.
Buddy Pugh, a 1975 grad of South Carolina State, and 120-64 record in his 17th season. William King with the carry gets the first down for the Morgan State Bears.
I love how he runs with the football, man. Just a physical runner, and it's a part of the mindset that you see from Morgan State as a team as a whole.
Harris, first down pass down the far sideline, and the ball was nearly intercepted. Harris threw an interception earlier in this game, and Alex Brown almost had his 2nd interception of the season, looking for Napoleon.
Alex Brown has done a great job today in coverage, and this was an interception attempt that he wants to get back. He tried to get it, but great job by the receiver making a play on it, Darian Napoleon, to break that ball up. Otherwise, it would have been going the other way. But Alex Brown, the senior, 6 feet 170, has done a great job in coverage so far in this ball game.
Harris, 8 of 17, 97 yards and a touchdown. He's hit 7 different wide receivers. He'll keep it himself. It's close to midfield and stopped right at midfield. Jared Jones from Atlanta, Georgia. The junior makes the stop.
Now, this is probably the part of the game and the situation and the field position where if you're Morgan State, you have any trick plays offensively, you probably want to reach into and grab one, reach in the back and grab one here, try to generate a big chunk play in the passing game to keep the football away from South Carolina State.
3 and 12 on 3rd downs. Big 3rd down here for the Bears. Holmes with the big catch and the first down. He had the 34-yard touchdown, and here a huge catch down to the 25-yard line by Corey Holmes. His 3rd catch of the game, good for 24 yards, and a first down for Morgan State.
First down, Morgan State.
Handoff straight ahead, William King.
Let's go back to that reception by Corey Holmes. We talk about a guy that had to make a play knowing the hit was coming, but he did a great job of not only securing the catch, but getting down on the ground pretty quickly to save himself. Good throw over the middle field, catch and duck and protect. That's how you draw it up.
Holmes with 3 catches for 64 yards, has the 34-yard touchdown catch. The only touchdown of the game for Morgan State back in the first half. Bulldogs show pressure. Harris steps up in the pocket, now runs. Brought down at the 21-yard line. Scanned the field quickly, but the Bulldog pressure was coming.
That was a great job by DeAndre Harris, just not forcing the football and trying to just take what the defense gave him. And you see right there, big number 76, Paul McKeever, is on the ground right here for South Carolina State. That can't be a good sign as he was in on the tackle. Got hit by his own teammate.
McKeever, the injured player. 11:33 to go here, fourth quarter. South Carolina State with a 14-11 lead over Morgan State.
1 cup of lemonade. Time to pack up, kids.
NFL Sunday Ticket. Get every live game every Sunday at no extra charge when you switch to direct TV. More for your thing. That's our thing.
You good?
Yeah. Alexa, turn it up. What's that?
Here's your reminder. Laura says the teething ring is in the freezer. Laura scheduled a play date for 3 p.m. I'm reminding you, Laura loves you, and you're doing a great job.
Big third down for the Bears, 3rd and 6. On the Bulldogs' 22-yard line. Harris has the completion. Big strike to Holmes. Holmes, when you need a big play, they go to Holmes. Another first down catch, his 4th catch of the game for Corey Holmes.
Football is an easy game. It's about blocking, tackling, catching. You see right here, Holmes does a great job of using his body to shield that defender away from the ball to where he can secure that catch cleanly and bring it down for the first down.
Football made simple.
Exactly.
There's the run by Jordan Riggins, and in the end zone for the Bears touchdown. So a couple of short passes to Holmes sets up the run game. Jordan Riggins in for the score, and the Bears are back on top.
It's funny what balance can do for an offense, right? We just talked about it. Quick passing game, clearing out space on the outside, and they ran left, so that tells me they're running weak side. You know why? Because big number 66, Josh Miles, the left tackle, did a great job of escorting his defender to the end zone, clearing out that huge lane for Riggins to run through. So great job for Jordan Riggins coming in, replacing Joshua Chase, who's been out with injury, getting the touchdown.
Reyes' extra point is good. Jordan Riggins, his first touchdown of the season, came in at a great time here in the 4th quarter, and the Bears back on top by 4 on homecoming. Riggins finds the end zone for 6. There's the reason why. Jordan Riggins, his first touchdown of the season, 13-yard touchdown run, capping a 10-play, 64-yard drive, took 3:50 off the clock, and the Morgan State Bears are back on top, 18-14. Homecoming crowd enjoying the fact that their Bears are back on top. Huge crowd here at Hughes Stadium. Homecoming always special at Morgan State University.
They do a great job here in between the breaks where the former cheerleading squad comes back and performs with the current squad, and they mix in together and they perform a routine. And the older cheerleaders don't miss a beat. It's pretty interesting to see. It's pretty fun to watch. Good atmosphere here at Morgan State.
Emery, I've done a couple of homecoming games with you, and I know that's your favorite part.
It's always my favorite part. Watching
checking out the alumni cheerleaders. 10:55 to go, 4th quarter. See if the Bulldogs can answer the touchdown. Nick with the big run. Cuts upfield. Nick up to the 48-yard line before he was brought down by Carl Garnes, but not after the big run by Nick, who's been dangerous with his legs for South Carolina State. 32-yard gain.
Rico Kennedy out there on the outside lost contain, which allowed Tyrese Nick to get to the outside. He looked like Michael Vick on that play taking off, but South Carolina State doesn't really have to get out of their tendencies here. They can still keep running the football like they've always done.
Nick tackled right at the line of scrimmage. Nowhere to go there. Fatajoma with the stop. Big 55 from Baltimore, Maryland. Newtown High School, local product. Big tackle by Fatajoma, 55. 10 minutes to go now, 4th quarter. Morgan State holding on to a 4-point lead. Looking to win back-to-back games for the first time since 2016. Bulldogs keep it on the ground. Inside look to James. James, leading rusher in this game. Stop made by Washington. Washington's been big. The freshman from DeMatha Catholic. A lot of potential with Washington.
Cameron Chesley right there, the linebacker, sophomore from Fort Washington, Maryland, made that play because had he not gotten a hand in there to slow down the running back, that ball was going to be going for a long distance.
3rd and 6. Nick to get the first down with his legs. Comes up just short. Was hit at the 45-yard line by Rico Kennedy. Rico was in there and Washington there to clean it up as well. And a fourth down coming up for the South Carolina State Bulldogs. Rico Kennedy, he's been special this season. When you need a big play, Rico Kennedy has been a guy to be there for you.
And they're going to punt this football. I thought they were going to perhaps go for it, but I would be alert for a fake punt here in this situation if you're Morgan State.
I'll have to watch it carefully. Petaway to kick away to Carl Garnes from the 40. Petaway's kick. Bounces at the 16-yard line, and that's where Morgan State will have the football with 8:30 remaining, fourth quarter, up 18-14. Morgan State next week goes on the road to Savannah State, and then they'll be back home in 2 weeks for a primetime game, 7 o'clock against Howard in the Beltway Battle.
We had that game a couple of years ago, and it was a really good contest that came down to the wire. So that's going to be a big game on October the 20th. Looking forward to it.
South Carolina State will be back home next week at Bethune, taking on Bethune-Cookman. Then they have Delaware State, and then they're on the road on the 27th to finish the month of October. They'll be in the nation's capital to face Howard. First and 10 for the Bears on the 16-yard line. King, good first down run. Their production on first down has been pretty good, running the football, and that's what Coach Jones talked about. I talked to him this week. He said, you know, we have to do well on first down to get out of those bad third down situations.
Exactly. I mentioned that earlier in the game where if you're not winning on first or second down, then third down is really irrelevant. It all starts on your opening play for a down and distance. If you can win on first, you can do a lot of different things, a lot of creative things on offense.
King again. Tackle made by Brown for the Bulldogs. So William King's done a nice job. Joshua Chase was injured. Riggins had the touchdown, the second touchdown of the game with Chase out, but King's got a lot of carries as well. Slips a tackle there. The extra effort gets him a first down. That was a big third down run by William King. Johnson made the stop for South Carolina State.
Here's why it's hard to tackle guys that are shorter and a little bit more explosive than bigger guys. Right here, you get as low as you can and try to tackle a guy that's 5'8", who's getting low to about 5'5". He's able to burrow through and power through an arm tackle. So, again, you can't really get a good square hit on a shorter running back, which is why they're so dangerous.
King 8 carries, 24 yards. Bailey goes in motion for Harris. They give to Riggins. Riggins stopped immediately on the handoff, maybe lost a yard.
Yeah, it won't show up on the stat sheet, but Tyrell Goodwin made that play, kind of forced the running back to stop his feet and walk back into the waiting arms of Paul McKeever in the backfield. You see right here, good job by Goodwin flying through, and good cleanup defense right there by South Carolina State.
McKeever, we spotlighted him to open this game today, and he has been big. We've talked about him a lot, and the big guy right next to him, Goodwin. Talk about 6'4", 265, and then McKeever 6'4", 290. Big on that defensive line for the Bulldogs. Harris throws the football far sideline, incomplete. He was looking for Baldwin. Pass goes over Baldwin's head at the 40.
And not to sound like a broken record, but once again, good job on the back end by the secondary. There were no open options in the passing game for Morgan State. You see right here on the replay, everyone is blanketed. There's no way to go to football. The next best thing, the right decision was to throw the football away.
Pretty wild game between Howard and North Carolina Central. North Carolina Central has a 21-19 lead with about 5 minutes to go before the half. Another MEAC action today. All the rest of the MEAC games later this afternoon or tonight. 3rd and 13, another big third down. That's been the case all afternoon, and Harris is tripped up from behind and brought down by your guy, 76, on the big stop again.
He's made virtually every play in his ball game defensively. They wanted to go to Manasseh Bailey, but he came open late, and Harris was under duress at that point in time. And allowed McKeever to make that stop, that sack. So Paul McKeever, man, he's already probably in the running for defensive player of the game because of how well he's played in this ball game.
McKeever takes a seat on that sideline, well deserved. He's been all over the place. Morgan State to punt the football back to the Bulldogs. O'Shea's punting from his 15-yard line. Fair catch called for by the boys at the 30-yard line. So 5:54 to go here in the fourth quarter. Morgan State trying to hold on to an 18-14 lead on homecoming.
With 2 times more geographic detail, Ancestry DNA can pinpoint where your ancestors are from and the paths they took to a new home. Could their journey inspire yours? Order your kit at AncestryDNA.com.
There she is, your friend at Just Maria. You like her. She's really good at social media. She buys stocks in companies that stand for something. You like her. She's always up on the latest trends. She got in early on the whole goat yoga thing. And her sunsets are always #NoFilter. You like her. But you'd like her better if you made more money than she does. Don't get mad at Just Maria. Get E-Trade.
Riggins' 13-yard touchdown run put the Bears back on top, 18-14. It was 14-11 at the half. South Carolina State has the football back, trying to get back in the lead. First down carry by James. McCray makes the stop. 247 yards of total offense for Morgan State, 178 for South Carolina State. Both teams have a turnover apiece. A 4-point lead for the Bears.
So tough to move Antoine McCray off the line of scrimmage at 6'3", 345. He's a big guy up front maintaining the line of scrimmage.
Nick on a 2nd and 7 is going to air this one out. Deep down the field to Burrows, and incomplete down at the 30-yard line. Burrows couldn't come up with the grab. On coverage was Carl Garnes, and one of his best friends on the team, DJ Johnson, team up.
If you're Tyrese Nick on this play, you want to throw this ball sooner. He had a step, but by Nick waiting to throw that football, allowed the safety to get back into the play and make a play on the ball. And that's what you don't want to see from a young quarterback, forcing the ball, waiting late to throw that football downfield. Got to be quick and decisive with your decisions. Make that throw, allow your receiver to make a play one-on-one, but don't invite the safety back into the ball, into the play.
South Carolina State 2 of 8 on third downs. 3rd and 7. Nick fires the football. Incomplete. There was a lot of Morgan State jerseys there. Going deep down the field. Washington was the intended receiver.
You're going to see right there on that play again. It was open initially. Throw it right away, but then he put a lot of air on it, which brought those 3 Morgan State defenders around him. The receiver was able to break clear right off the ball out of the slot. And you want to fire that ball in there, drill it on line, allow him to catch it, stop, and then make something happen after the catch. By waiting to throw that football and putting air on it, you allow the safety, you allow the corner to come back, and also the corner that wasn't covering him peel off his guy and make the play.
Bulldogs will punt the football back to Morgan State. Picked up by Pollen. Returns it close to midfield, and that's where the Bears will have the football with 4:50 remaining in this game. Looking to get a homecoming victory. If you're in Western PA, Clarendon Holiday Inn Express and Suites, an outstanding new hotel just off of exit 62 on Interstate 80. In Clarion, free high-speed internet, full breakfast buffet, indoor pool, fitness center, and more waiting for you. Call for reservations. Clarion Holiday Inn Express, your Sports Fever television headquarters in Western Pennsylvania. 1st and 10 at midfield for the Bears. Looking to pick up their 2nd straight win of the season and go 1-0 in MEAC play. They get a win on homecoming, trying to hold on to a 4-point lead. King picks up 11 yards and a first down. Stop made by Jones.
Big fan of how he's able to negotiate his way through traffic. You saw him find a lane, make a subtle move, cut back inside, dart back outside right there. He's been running extremely well today for wide receiver, but we've seen him have the natural running skills that makes him effective. Big fan of what he's done today for the Bears ground game.
King with 9 carries for 45 yards. Hand off to King again. Has running room. A lot of room. King inside the 20-yard line down to the 19. And a big pickup. Alex Brown was the one to pull his leg back to stop King from going a little further.
William King, once again, this is a guy that has stepped up in a big way for Morgan State, just starting to pick up yards in chunks now. And you start to see that offensive line really feeling themselves up front.
21-yard pickup for King. 4:06 remain in this game. Morgan State trying to get it done on homecoming.
Calling all creators.
Those with the need
to make something new, who are obsessed with progress.
Get tough! No annual fee. Just dial the numbers. I'm tough.
No, okay.
Make the call.
Yeah. You got it.
Make the call. Come on.
Oh, boy.
No tough talks necessary. Only Discover has no annual fee on any card.
You can make it if you try. You can make it if you try. You can make it if you try. Oh, yeah.
Some Morgan State University, the Bears with an 18-14 lead. The cheerleaders like what they see. William King, 46 yards rushing. Give it to King again. Down to the 12-yard line.
This is the part of what we call the running back groove, where you're getting consistent carries, starting to fill out the defense. The offensive line is starting to fill out the defensive front. And that's how big runs start to happen. That's why you're seeing them wear down this front seven of South Carolina State.
Jordan Riggins and William King stepping up for Joshua Chase, who was injured and did not return. Riggins had the only touchdown of the second half that put Morgan State up 18-14. And right now the hot hand is number 22, William King, running the football. Coach Ernest T. Jones has made it very clear in the number of times we've talked to him, we want to run it. We're going to run the football. We're going to run the football. 2nd and 4. King patient. Makes one man miss and then falls forward for maybe a yard. Nicholas made the stop.
What a smart play by William King. Didn't run out of bounds, just fell right there in the field of play. See right here, try to find some open space. Nothing shaking, just get down and continue to run that clock and burn some time off.
The Bears ranked among the best in the MEAC in terms of third down conversions last year. This year, 9th in the MEC. They've struggled on third downs. They had a couple of big third downs that they converted in this game. They're going to run some clock. Right now they're holding on to a 4-point lead, and they want that clock to run. Take it down to the final opportunity to get that ball off before the penalty, and they hand it off to William King, setting up an Alex Rhea field goal attempt. Ford made the stop for the Bulldogs. 2:26 to go. Can Morgan State make it 2 wins in a row for Coach Jones? We'll find out after this.
Today, Cigna, together all the way.
1 of 3 field goal attempts today. Had a 35-yarder to start the scoring in this homecoming game. 28-yarder. Rhea's kick is no good. Could have extended the lead. But the field goal kick no good. Rhea now 1 of 4 on field goal attempts. 2:24 to go. Still a 4-point game. Rhea might have had that one. I don't know if it was tipped at the line or what, but Rhea now 1 for 4 on field goals.
Just goes to show you how quickly you can go from the king to the GOAT in college football. We talked about this in the open, how he was fantastic 2 weeks ago against North Carolina A&T, and now you fast forward to now, and he's only made 1 out of 4 field goal attempts. One I'm not going to hold against because it was a 52-yarder, but the last 2 he has to make, and that would have been huge because it would put this game at a touchdown. Now if you're South Carolina State, you have a chance to really take the lead and win the game with 2 minutes and 24 seconds left in this contest.
Rhea hit a 51-yarder career high, and then the game winner against North Carolina A&T as time expired 2 weeks ago. Nick, nifty running, gets close to a first down marker and a 9-yard pickup. Ian McBurrow makes the stop on Nick.
Here's where Tyrese Nick can become a legend at South Carolina State by making things happen late in the ball game to lead his team to a victory. We're going to see how he manages his 2-minute situation.
Nick, 46 yards rushing the football for South Carolina State. Quick hitter on the second down and short. The grab was made by Sparrett. Gets the first down. Surratt makes the catch. Kennedy makes the stop on Surratt's first down grab. Nick across the middle has the completion.
Will Vereen with that reception.
Yeah, Vereen's had some big catches. Kennedy made the stop yet again. Vereen, that's his third catch. Across the middle to Vereen, and now all of a sudden the Bulldogs have the football across midfield. 16-yard pickup with the Vereen catch. Nick fires, incomplete. Out of the backfield looking for Cummings, and threw it behind him.
That previous play to Will Vereen was the best throw Tyrese Nick made all day long, because he was able to make that decision quick, decisive, and put it on the line so that way Vereen can make something happen after the catch. Here, did a good job just getting rid of the football and took a hit because of it.
Was looking for Cummins, and the pressure was coming by Ian McBurrow. 2nd and 10, 1:32 remain in this game. And one of the Bears might have jumped early. South Carolina State looking for their first win of the season. 0-4.
Going to be offside. Normally this is a play where Aaron Rodgers would take advantage and go deep, but the refs blew the whistle because he was inundated to the quarterback. Unabated to the quarterback.
Seven penalties now on Morgan State. 6 for South Carolina State. Things getting good here in Baltimore, Maryland. MEAC Football on the Sports Fever Television Network. These are the playbook, Emery Hunt, alongside me today. Phil Shaner and the entire Sports Fever television crew. Nick fires, incomplete. There's a penalty marker down. Was looking for Baxley, was the intended receiver. On coverage was Dante Small.
I think they're going to get a hold here on Morgan State in the secondary.
1:27 on the clock.
Which would be huge because it'll become an automatic first down for South Carolina State. So Morgan State shoot themselves in the foot here on this last drive.
Alex Rea missed a field goal a few moments ago. That would have increased the lead to a touchdown, but now Morgan State's defense on their heels. Penalty on Rico Kennedy, so some back-to-back penalties on the Bears defense is giving South Carolina State's Bulldogs the offense they need to try to attempt to win this football game. Nick, far sideline, incomplete, looking for Burrows. It was over Burrows' head, wasn't able to bring it down. Carl Garnes on coverage.
Surprised they really haven't gotten DeMontez Burrows involved in this ball game a lot more. He's a big body receiver, and he's a guy that can be moved all around the formation. You put him inside, put him outside. It's the first real target for him in this ball game.
Burrows 6 catches, 142 yards, and a touchdown. Had an 81-yard touchdown last week. Completion, Sterrett with the grab. Carl Garnes runs him out of bounds. It's good enough for a first down, and the Bulldogs continue to move after the Surratt catch for 13 yards with 1:17 remaining.
Another redshirt freshman stepping up big here for South Carolina State. Young team growing up right before our eyes and making some plays in the clutch moment.
1st and 10. Now on the Bears' 23-yard line. Morgan State's defense needs to make a play. Nick. Here comes the pressure. Screen out of the backfield, wide open. Touchdown, Omar Cummings. What a play call. They let the pressure come in. No one picked the back up out of the backfield, and Cummings has the touchdown.
Yeah, great job by Bennett Swigert, the offensive coordinator, with that slow screen. And just a masterful call in that situation. You had to think Morgan State was coming with the pressure. Found the tailback, slipping out of the backfield. And just a great throw by Tyrese Nick. And I said before, we're going to learn a lot about him growing up here in this 2-minute situation. He did a great job moving his team down the field to get the touchdown Omar Cummings, excellent reception, another redshirt freshman.
Nick to Cummings for the go-ahead score for South Carolina State. And they're trying to spoil homecoming, up 21-18, looking for their first win of the season on the Sports Fever Television Network. How pretty was this play? Cummings in from 22 yards out. Bulldogs back on top. 14 seconds to take the lead. 7-play, 80-yard drive. Nick to Cummings for a 23-yard touchdown and the go-ahead score. And 1:10 left on the clock. That's what Morgan State's going to need. Down 21-18 if they want to win on homecoming. Get good field position to start their drive. Washington returned it to the 40-yard line. So that's where they have the football with 1:06 remaining, down 21-18.
Well, here's the thing. 60 yards for the win, but you also have a kicker that just is coming off of a game winner a couple of weeks ago, but is struggling in this ball game. Can you trust him one more time to kick a field goal to tie?
Here is Alex Rea, was the hero in the North Carolina A&T game, ending the Aggies' 15-game win streak. They were ranked number 4 in the country at the time, and with 3 big kicks and the game winner, time running out. Harris out of the pocket, he's going to run. Harris has some room to midfield and gets out of bounds into Bulldog territory at the 49-yard line. 14-yard gain for Harris on the run.
It's a great job by Harris. One, because he was able to find some open space without holding the football a little bit too long. Then he was able to get out of bounds, preserve a timeout for Morgan State. They still have 3 timeouts with under a minute left to play. A lot of time to get into field goal range, but also to get yourself in position to score a touchdown.
Harris 55 yards rushing the football. Under a minute to go. The 49-yard line. Riggins, who has the touchdown earlier, is in the backfield. Gets the carry. Riggins falls forward, a gain of 2 or 3 yards, made by Lane Jones. And there's a timeout. Morgan State calls their first timeout. So they have 2 remaining here in the game with 50 seconds to go.
Interesting play call right there. Maybe they tried to catch South Carolina State in a particular pass blitz to run the draw right behind it and try to generate another chunk play, but South Carolina State was in position, made the stop, and forced Morgan State to use a timeout here, and in a situation where they not only used a timeout but lost 8 seconds.
Looking at the stat sheets, you got to look at why the score is 21-18 in favor of South Carolina State. Morgan State, Emory, 71 plays, 313 yards. South Carolina State only ran 55 plays for 277, yet they have the lead here, and that's what Buddy Pugh, I mean, he's the master. He had to figure out how to win a football game, knows what his talent is, and try to, how is he going to do it? Well, he has his team leading here, and Buddy Pugh looking for this first win of the season, but we'll see if Morgan State can do something about that here in homecoming with 50 seconds to go.
It's about what you can do with the football when you have it. They hadn't had it a lot, but when they did, they just made it work for them offensively.
Harris with the completion. Riggins out of the backfield. It's good, safe play. Riggins was wide open, gets the first down, and gets the ball down to the 36-yard line, 37-yard line, 11-yard pass play. Harris to Riggins.
Good job right there by Riggins. Smart football, getting out of bounds, and no rush, no pressure here for DeAndre Harris. He's cool as a cucumber and just working the football downfield, has his team in position to make a play.
Harris 10 of 20, 130 yards, including a 34-yard touchdown. His longest pass of the game to Corey Holmes. Corey Holmes could be the guy here. He has 4 catches, 73 yards. Harris is going to run it. Bounces to the outside, gets a good block from his wide receiver, gets out of bounds, 8-yard pickup by Harris, but the time is the factor, down to 37 ticks on the clock. The Bears down 21-18.
Well, with these 2 timeouts they still have, now you still have a chance to take a shot over the middle of the field to get a chunk play, call a timeout, get regrouped, and then run another play to try to get into the end zone. So they still have all of their options available here offensively for them. You see Alex Rea right there on your screen. That's the guy that's probably going to be counted on to make the game-tying field goal if they can't get any further.
37 seconds on the clock. Both teams have 2 timeouts remaining. 2nd and 2. Harris Going to run the football, has the first down, stays in bounds. Clock stops to move the chains for the first down run by Harris. Getting a little closer. Could Alex Rea get another chance? 1 for 4, kicking the football today.
They're letting this clock run. I thought they were going to call timeout. Wasting valuable time here.
Now Morgan State's going to have to use a timeout. They have 1 remaining. They call it with 20 seconds to go. They lost a couple of ticks there. 30-second timeout. South Carolina State leading 21-18. And what do you think Ernest T. Jones is talking about? We'll think about that for a second, Emery, but let me tell you about the Delta Hotels by Marriott, Baltimore, Hunt Valley, the Maryland and Mid-Atlantic region lodging headquarters. Destination for visiting college football teams and fans right off of Interstate 83. Delta Hotels by Marriott in Baltimore, Hunt Valley. They have everything you need and more. Call today or book a reservation online. So let's reset this. 20 seconds remain. South Carolina State holding on to a 21-18 lead. Alex Rea is 1 of 4 field goals. Was the hero in the upset win over North Carolina A&T for Coach Jones's team 2 weeks ago on the road.
Well, here's what you can do here in this situation. You got to give yourself 3 plays. You can still complete a pass over the middle of the field, get up to the line of scrimmage quickly, down the ball, run another play, then call timeout and take your shots, whether in the end zone or with the field goal.
First down for the Bears. On the Bulldog 29. Harris goes to the end zone. The ball is intercepted. And South Carolina State will have their first victory of the season. Scott Robinson with the pick. His first interception of the season from Rock Hill, South Carolina. And the South Carolina State Bulldogs will have their first victory of the season. There is a penalty marker down at the 27-yard line.
Yeah, what Harris saw there, he wanted to look off the safety, didn't do a good job of doing so. His eyes locked in on that post pattern. The entire route allowed the safety to come back into the play. We've talked about this the entire broadcast, and he made the interception to seal the game, the victory for South Carolina State. Great defensive play right there by the Bulldogs.
Harris has been intercepted twice in this game, costly. He was looking for Poland. Buddy Pugh, he's never been 0-4 in his coaching career at South Carolina State. Gets his first victory of the season. Matter of fact, South Carolina State hasn't been 0-4 since 1970.
That's amazing to hear. But you have to give credit to Tyrese Nick for doing what he did that last drive, leading his team down and throwing a perfect touchdown strike for the win.
South Carolina State will be hosting Bethune-Cookman next week. And Morgan State will be at Savannah State next week. So that's a final from Baltimore. South Carolina State gets a 21-18 win over Morgan State. For the entire Sports Fever Television Network crew, I'm Phil Shaner. Have a great day from Baltimore, Maryland. We'll talk to you next week.